Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? I got a couple minutes right now. I'm gonna go do some water skiing this afternoon. Try to, keep the mind grounded. But let's talk about my last video. Whoa, oh, scary, 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 huh? That could never happen. I know, right? It could never happen. But yet, there's places like Australia and France right now that are using the police and the military to go around and forcing non-vaccinated people to stay indoors, right? Checking people's papers, checking people's papers. Just like they're doing now all across America right now as we speak, you're going to have to now be, vaccinated to enter buildings. And you say, oh, that's no big deal. But when the police and the military are forcing it, what do they do? Do they just keep giving tickets to the non-compliant people until those people have 150, like parking tickets used to be? Is that how this is all going to play out, like in Australia and France? They're using the military and they're using the police, guns, right? Guns, forcing people at gunpoint to show their papers. And if they don't have their papers, you have to use the next logical thinking of what's happening next, what's happening right in front of your face that you're all denying, not all you deny, no, it's not what I mean. I'm just trying to get people prepared. What is important in life? Politics, Republican, Democrats, legal or right? You can't see it's being strung along again for the next 4 years, the next election, the next election. If you didn't believe the last election, why would you participate in the next one? Because you believe in the hype and the lies. I never once said to vote, never said don't vote, but I never said to vote. I've always said that it was fake and false. Okay? What more, regardless of what the truth is, the system upholds a certain thing, correct? And that is itself. Itself. So when we support that type of thing, we get sidetracked in other things, like our soul. And who would be distracting us into all these man made political things? And let's go back, again, let's go back to the tickets because I got a little sidetracked there on ranting. So, in France and Australia and other countries and in America, they call it a mandate, but if you're not allowed to go into the store without showing your paperwork, or like I say, those other two countries, they're not even allowed out of their house right now without being vaccinated. So what do they do to the people that don't comply? Do they just keep writing them tickets? Or do they actually physically arrest the people? Because what good would be writing a bunch of tickets to somebody if there's no repercussions of tickets? So as soon as they're forcing you to see your paperwork, this is saying that they're jailing people and putting people into whatever word you want to use for not complying on taking a certain approach on things, correct? And you say that never happened in America. But America's done it a bunch of times. America's rounded up people all through history. One of the last times it was a big one was America rounded up Japanese and put them in internment camps. Japanese Americans. It didn't matter who they were, how long they were here in America, or where they were born. All Japanese were rounded up and put in internment camps in California. California loves that kind of. Of course, they had internment camps other places. But you're saying it could never happen in America? It's already happened in America. It's already happened in America. And again, right now, the last year, The businesses got fined for not upholding the mandate. The business owners had to control the people. And then the businesses got in trouble, right? Well, now we're in phase two. It's going to the next step. The businesses are already closed and gone. There's a few stragglers, but you know what I'm saying? You can see this happening. So now who's going to mandate the people? And if you're not allowed into a store, see, before it was you just had to have a mask on. Easy to comply, easy, okay, I'll just put the mask on. Now I can go in the store, I'll be a slime ball and just comply. But now you have to prove that you've been, to get into stores. So what would be the next logical step? If somebody is not have that correct paperwork and wants to get into that store and they go in anyways with a mask on, what's next? Do they just write that person a ticket? Or are they going to arrest people? And I've shown, or I haven't shown you, but I've told you and talked to you about how the homeless and people in jail, if you're arrested, are front of the line for the V. You get it right off the bat. For their protection, not yours. You say it can't happen. You say it won't happen. You say it can't happen. It's happening in other countries. And it's happening right here in front of your faces and you don't realize it. Should we wait for a couple more years and vote for somebody else? Has it ever worked before? Has there ever been a government that succeeded? We don't play by America's own rules anymore, so this country is not really an American country, is it? If it doesn't apply its own rules to itself, how can it sustain itself? How can it say it is itself? It sustains and has one goal. Government has one goal. One goal. Where we go one, we go all. All government will always go together to dinner, breakfast, and lunch. Definitely to the donation box. How much time do you spend in Q? Doubt you spent more time than me of researching Q. You might go out and spend more time within the genre of Q, but you didn't spend more time researching the actual pure drops. You might have gone out and researched more of what Q asked you to go look at, like news articles and all that stuff. I looked at zero of that stuff. None of it. I studied just the Q drops. Nobody studied. And where did it lead me? To the same conclusion beforehand. That it's a farce, that this whole government's a farce, that it's there to distract you from knowing who you are and Jesus Christ is. I heard a very incredible wise man just say in the last 48 hours, 24 hours, maybe it was from a past show, that any true Christian would never want to be a part of the government once they realize and see how deep that kind of evil controls it. Q explained this, showed this, of how, if you did your research, you can look in all the different cultures that did some really bad, evil stuff. They got tricked by the devil. And to think that that stuff went away is still, it's a blessing to be ignorant and naive. There is a blessing. Be glad you don't know the evils that do plague this earth and plague our government. You see, the government is man, but the government is controlled by bigger evil forces. If you don't believe that, stand in line for any government assistance and see if it ever pulls you up and out. It was you that got sick and tired of it and left it. Yeah, I rant too much. God bless.